Welcome back to the Junkman, everybody. That's right, this is a classic video, but I was going to do an intro just to let you know that I'm in New York City, so you might not see 2 videos a day, but I'm going to throw up at least a new one on Thursday and Friday. Well, it's Thursday, so you're probably already seeing this one, so come back Friday for the noon video, and if I see anything cool while I'm in New York, I might throw up a video there too, either here or over on the live channel, so make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to both, hit the bell and all that. This video here, I did around 2019, and it's about the Mego Love Boat action figures. Something people still today say, Junkman, do you know they made Love Boat action figures? And they did. Sadly, they didn't make any guest stars. I wish they did that. But just to save you from watching the video where I was up in my old space and everything, I took that out, left the audio there, and we're going to look at some classic guest stars from Love Boat while I tell you about the Love Boat figures and show you the actual Love Boat figures and 2 different boats that you could get to play with. Very cool. So, I didn't want to leave you with nothing at all, so let's go take a look at Mego's Love Boat action figure line. Let's get to it. Let's talk about the Love Boat action figures. Can you believe it? Mego made action figures based on Love Boat. Yeah, Mego, the company that turned down Star Wars, the company that told 20th Century Fox that they would go bankrupt if they made action figures based on every B science fiction movie that got released. Yeah, that same company said no to Star Wars, but said yes to making action figures of the Love Boat. Now, this was the 80s when Mego was trying to dig itself out of a hole where they were buying up licenses to everything, trying to make up for the mistake with Star Wars. I mean, they did everything you could think of. They were making about everything they could at this time to find that hit toy line. But believe it or not, they didn't find success with the Love Boat. We're going to look at the Love Boat action figures and then, yes, the 2 different Love Boat play sets. You heard me right, 2 Love Boat play sets. This is the most exciting thing to happen to Love Boat since Gene Rayburn did a guest appearance. Now, let's look at the figures. First, let's look at the cards. Kind of generic. They all look the same, although they have a different name at the bottom of the card. The card is basically just the same card with a name at the bottom. Really cheap there, Mego. I see what you're trying to do, trying to cut cost. And the back of the card, take a look at it. Not even in color. Just an ugly back with drawings of the action figures you could collect. That's right, they wouldn't even put pictures of the action figures. Did you get a picture of Isaac? No, you got a drawing of Isaac. But let's take a closer look at each figure. Believe it or not, they made 6 different figures. Although technically they're different figures, 2 of these figures are the same figure, just different sizes. Pretty sneaky, Mego. I see what you're trying to do. Again, trying to cut cost. But let's start with the captain of the Love Boat himself, the Captain Stubing action figure. I just said the words Captain Stubing action figure. Did you ever think in your life someone would say Captain Stubing action figure? I don't know about you, but I just love saying Captain Stubing, and I love to say action figure. So it's fun to say them together. Can you imagine being a kid in the 80s when these came out and sitting on Santa Claus's lap at the local mall? What do you want for Christmas, you junk kid? I want a Captain Stubing action figure. Get off my lap, you son of a... Oh, anyway, I'm getting carried away again. I'm getting so excited talking about these Love Boat action figures that were released in 1981. The same year they were released was the same year the line was canceled. But let's look at the one captain that can make Captain Kangaroo look like a first mate, Captain Stubing. And here's the only action figure I can think of that's named Merrill. That's right, Captain Merrill Stubing, played by one of the greatest actors ever known to mankind, Gavin MacLeod. The figure comes with a removable, dark-rimmed, white dress hat. There's 2 different variations, one with bendable knees and one without. Although he's a captain, his hat isn't anything too special, as it's the exact same hat that comes with some of the other figures. And for people asking, the figures were 4 inches. That's it, a look at the Captain Stubing action figure. What, did you want me to tell you more? It's a Captain Stubing action figure. What more can I say? Look, it's a bald captain. That's about all I can say, right? I mean, come on, it's Captain Stubing. One thing, who would have thought of making a Captain Stubing action figure, but who would have thought about making a Gavin MacLeod action figure? Not gonna lie, I would love to have these action figures. But then again, can you really call them action figures? Now I remember these at the store and they were in the boys section of action figures. But to me, maybe I'm sexist, maybe I'm wrong, but they always seemed they were more aimed for girls than guys. Again, maybe that's just the way I saw it. When I went to the store, I saw Star Wars, A-Team, He-Man. Well, probably not He-Man yet, but you know what I'm saying. I saw a lot of men toys that came with guns and weapons and swords. And then, in between them, Love Boat figures that came with a damn hat. Let's go on and look at another figure from the line. Let's look at the Adam Bricker action figure. Who's Adam Bricker? Well, you probably just call him Doc. And this figure comes with the same removable hat as the Captain Stubing, and can be found with bendable knees or without bendable knees. And the figure looks basically the same, just a different head. And as you can see, they didn't spend a lot of money to make it look that much like the characters on the TV show. Why do these come in two different versions, one with bendable legs and one without bendable legs? Who was that picky that was buying Love Boat action figures? Oh, right, look, I found Doc. I found the Doc action. Oh, it's the one with the bendable legs. I want the one with the straight legs that don't bend, so he's not fun to play with and he can't sit in a desk or anything. Did you really need two different variations of this, Mego? Anyway, that's Doc from the Love Boat. Now let's go deep into the caverns of the Love Boat to talk about this next action figure. And this one here looks a little different. At least he's wearing a different color jacket. And I can tell you who we're talking about. I don't even have to say his name. All I have to do is... And here it is, the Isaac Washington action figure. And who would have thought Isaac had a last name? Isaac Washington action figure. And yes, he comes in two variations. One with the knees bend, and another one where the knees doesn't bend. You'd think they would have made the figures with the pointy fingers so he could give a point to Captain Stubing. Now, I'm not going to act like a Love Boat snob. I'm not going to sit around here and tell you that I hated the Love Boat, that I didn't like the Love Boat, that it was corny and it was stupid, and it was all that, but I think it was Saturday night, I guess. I used to watch the Love Boat, especially if it was over at my grandparents' house, because we only had like 3 channels back then. You people today don't understand. When something was on TV, you had to watch it. I mean, you only had like 3 options, so it was either the Love Boat or a rerun of Keaton Alley. So you're going to pick Love Boat. I mean, you never knew who was going to show up. They had a lot of cool guest stars. Unless it was that Chara. Was that her name? Oochie. Remember her? Hated that lady. Hated when she turned up. Couldn't they just have Kim Berry be the guest star every week? It's always good when Kim Berry was the guest star. Okay, what action figure are we up to now? My favorite character of the Love Boat, at least it was back then. Now, I haven't watched the Love Boat since probably the mid-80s. I'm sure it's horrible now if I do watch it. Although I did watch it, like I said, I was more of a fan of Fantasy Island. Remember Tattoo? Now that's an action figure I would have bought. A Tattoo action figure. Oh, maybe one day. But my favorite character watching the Love Boat when I did watch it was Gopher. But let's talk about the ship's purser. I don't know what a ship purser is. I don't know what a purser is. I thought it was something a woman carried her money in, but apparently not. It's a ship purser. That was Gopher's job. Gopher, that was his name, right? Gopher's job. Ship purser. I don't know either. Now that we looked at those men of the Love Boat, let's check out the hot women of the Love Boat. By hot, I mean maybe mediocre and just one of them. We're going to look at the action figure based on Julie. You know, that girl from the Love Boat that no one ever really cared about. She walked around with a clipboard. And I think they fired her by the end of the series run because she was hooked on drugs. Now that would have been a better action figure if they did the drug years, but they didn't. Let's look at the Julia action figure and act like we care. I don't know about you, but I would have had the cloth skirt. I don't know why anybody would want any of these. Now, there was one more action figure to look at, and that's the worst character of the Love Boat, Vicky. Even as a kid when I watched this show, hated the character. I just hated the look of this little girl. I know that's bad to say. I shouldn't judge somebody on how they look. I'm sure in real life she's a great person and everything, but I just never liked the look of this little girl. Even when she was in the movie Airplane, and she had that IV stuck to her, and the hippie lady knocked it out with the guitar, and she's over there. Hated that. It's so cringy seeing that scene in Airplane, which is a great movie, and I couldn't stand Vicky on the Love Boat. Again, nothing against the actress that played her. I just always hated looking at her. Oh, let's look at the figure. Look at this figure. Now look at it. I'm going to put another picture of the Julie figure right next to it. This is the same figure, right? It's just a smaller version of the Vicky figure. I mean, it's the same head. It's the same everything. And yes, you could buy it also in a cloth or plastic skirt. What a ripoff. But I guess you did capture how ugly she was. God, I just called a child ugly. Nothing sacred in this world. Okay, now that we looked at the Love Boat action figures, it's time to move on to the Love Boat playset. And there's two different Love Boat playsets, and they're both a boat. Shocking, I know. How could they do a boat playset? Well, they did, and I'm going to be honest with you. Wouldn't it be cool to have the Love Boat sitting over there somewhere? I would put my Star Wars figures in it. Man, if I had this Love Boat as a kid, I would have got some figures with it. I would have at least got Captain Stubing, just so I could say Stubing. And I got Gopher, because I like Gopher. And I might have got Isaac, just so I could point my finger at stuff. But I would have set that up. I would have put my Star Wars figure in it. And Darth Vader would have been the guest star that week of Love Boat. Let's take a look. I can't talk. Let's take a look at the Love Boat playset. As you can see, it comes with 6 different cabins. 1 cabin for each of the action figures. The Love Boat itself is nothing but a plastic shell that looks like it would break pretty easy. We can take a closer look at each cabin. Isaac has his own little bar with a nice little picture of a well over in the corner. For the dining area, it comes with a table and a chair, and you can place Gopher right in the center to be the waiter. The cruise director has her own bathroom with a makeup table and a mirror. And little Vicky has her own little kid room with a very creepy looking doll or a creepy little person laying on the window in the background, and Snoopy. And then you have the doctor's quarters where I guess the doc would hang out. And the best room of them all has to be the captain's den, where Captain Stubing relaxes after a hard day of loving on the Love Boat. That's a look at the Love Boat playset. I'm not sure how playset it is. It looks like you just stand them in a room and don't look like it has much play value. Now, there was another ship that looked better that was released, but it wasn't released for the action figures. What? There's 2 different action figures of Love Boat figures? Apparently so. These were more like little army men size action figures. You know, plastic on a little base. They didn't do much but just stand there. But you could buy a Love Boat ship and have them stand around it. And it came with a bunch of special guest stars. Although it's not really guest stars like Chara or Vic Tayback. It's just generic plastic figures that mostly all look the same. But this boat here, I think, looks a little better. Let's take a look. As you can see from the box, it comes with over 90 pieces. And look at that. Have you ever thought about that? It's kind of like Star Trek The Next Generation. You got Isaac down here. He's kind of like Geordi, I guess. And over here, you got, I guess, the Deanna Troi character with her little clipboard. And then you got Gopher. I guess that's kind of like the Data of this series. And then Doc, I guess that's Beverly Crusher right there, I guess. And then you got the Will Wheaton of Love Boat right there, that little girl. And at the top, you got Captain Stubing, the bald captain. You know who he's like, the bald captain of the Enterprise, Captain Picard. Although this one looks better at a glance, has a little bit more detail to it, it does look like it'd be a pain to put together, as you would have to put on all the stickers yourself. And being they're not action figures, they're just little plastic people on stands, not sure how fun it would be. Anyway, that's a look at the Love Boat action figures from Mego. What did you think? This isn't the part of the video I asked you. Did you have the Love Boat action figures? Well, I don't think you did. But maybe you did. If you did, let me know in the comments below.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.